Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Come on in and make yourself known. This is Calibrate Tools and DIY, where we're all about tools, home improvement, trade skills, man. I'm all about pushing trade skills out there, especially to the youth, man. Our youth today, man, a lot of us are struggling with dealing with, our own kids who have no direction and all that. So part of the reason I created this channel is to provide some direction. It doesn't have to be your direction. Okay. I'm not saying, hey, you got to go out there and learn a trade, but in the same breath, I am saying that, especially for kids who really don't have the guidance they need at the house, right? A lot of times it's not our kids' fault, man. They just don't have the guidance at the house, right? And then they go out there in the world and they get guidance from other places. This being one of them, social media, friends, okay. If you live on the West Coast, they got all kinds of different influences out here, man. They got the gangs, they got, that's everywhere, but especially in certain areas of the country, and we got to do something about that. If you really want to do something about your environment and not just complain about it, you got to do something about it. Very Good Life Knows, how you doing? What's up? What's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Glad to see you. Always here supporting. Appreciate you. So, but this topic I'm gonna touch on today has to do with those who have a direction, who have decided, hey, look, I'm going to take this route. I'm going to make it happen. Whether that's in a job, whether it's mainly for if you're trying to start your own thing, a business or some kind of enterprise that you're taking up, right? This live is going to be about why you shouldn't go it alone. You shouldn't go it alone. It's tempting, and you know uh, sometimes it's necessary. In the beginning, nobody's going to see your idea. Nobody's going to see your dream like you see it. Okay, I don't care who it is. They're not going to be as invested in it as you are, unless you run across that rare person. Okay, who wants to see you succeed and will actually put some skin in the game, like you are, right? And if somebody's put more skin in the game than you are, that should tell you something. You know, on your own dream, your idea, your vision, or whatever, someone else is putting more skin in the game than you are. That's not good, right? You should be the one putting the most skin in the game when it comes to manifesting your vision. But there's like I said, there's stages to that. Okay, and I'm kind of segueing into the topic as I speak. If you guys can tell already, title is the solo route. The solo route will limit you. I'm sure you guys uh, can understand what I'm trying to say or get where I'm going at with that. Okay, if you hear some noise outside, hey, look, there's people driving by and stuff like that. I'm not in a soundproof room, so apologize for any outside external noises that may interrupt the flow. Don't let it bother you too much. Stay focused. Stay focused. Right, the solo route, guys. Let me stop hitting the table. I want you shaking so much. The solo route will limit you. Okay, in the beginning, of your, whatever you're starting out, you're going to wear all the hats. Like I said, nobody sees the vision like you see it. Okay, nobody's going to be totally invested in your vision until it could be years later that they see what you're doing and they say, hey, this person's been putting in the work and I want to help them. But unless they see you put skin in the game, why would they help you? I mean, why would they want to be on your team unless you're putting skin in the game? So in the beginning, you may have to go solo. You may have to. Okay. Now, if you're good at pitching your ideas to other people, right? If you're good at selling, I don't want to say selling the dream, but if you're good at communicating your vision to others, right, about what you want to do, you can get a good team around you in the beginning, right, that want to help you. But even if you get a good team around you in the beginning, that those people, okay, those people have to see you putting more skin in the game than they are. Because if they see that you're not, they're going to eventually fall away, right? Because they're going to say, hey, man, I love this guy's idea, or they're going to steal your idea because they and run with it and become more successful at it than you are. Okay. So at the end of the day, it has to come down to you and what you're willing to do, how much you're willing to put into it, right? How much you're willing to put into it. Um, I remember the story of Facebook, right? Remember how Mark Zuckerberg apparently there were it wasn't Facebook wasn't his idea, but apparently he had the will to take the idea from whoever he was dealing with at the time. I think it was two brothers or something like that. Forgive me if I don't know the whole story and all the details. But he took it and ran with it, right? He put more skin in the. I don't know. It seems like he may have put more skin in the game than they did, right? Or he was faster at the draw, right? He was faster at the draw than they were. And look, he surpassed them, or he took it and ran with it, and they were left, lamenting the fact that he, quote unquote, stole their idea and became successful at Facebook, right? With Facebook. So that's an example of putting skin in the game, okay, and more than the originator of the idea. You don't want to be that, right? Unless you don't care, right? But if you're really serious about your idea or what you want to do, you better be serious. You better be 150% into it, not just 100%, because 100% is just breaking even. You want to be 150%, okay, 10 toes deep into your vision, into your idea, and you got to be able to communicate that to your team or to other people so they can get in it with you, right? Because once again, you can only go so far by yourself. You can only go so far by yourself. Okay. Now, in the beginning, it may seem, oh, look, I'm doing this all by myself. I'm wearing all the hats and all that stuff, and you may be getting an ego boost off of that, but that won't last. That won't last, right? Even if you're the most dedicated person to your vision, it won't. It can only get you so far, right? A car can only go so far. I mean, a car can travel faster than a bicycle because it has four wheels. Well, let me back up here, okay? If it's a motorcycle, you know what I'm saying, it could probably go just as fast as a car. But you get my point. You need it. It's not just about you, right? Your vision should include getting other people on board, delegating the tasks at hand, so that will free you up to grow the business or grow your enterprise or whatever idea you have, the nonprofit, whatever it is, grow it further, right? The other tasks are going to be delegated, include operations, whatever you need to do that on an operations level. You have to be the one to spearhead it and be the idea guy, right? Because you were the idea guy in the first place. Now you just need, operations. You need the operations outposts, which are other people, to do the tasks needed to keep it running, and so you can go out there and blaze trails. That's what it's all about. So don't let the ego get to you. Don't let your ego say, "Hey, look, I don't want to hand it off to anybody. I don't trust anybody with my thing. This is mine, mine, mine." That whole mine, mine, mine mentality is going to be the death of it's going to be the death of progress for you, right? You have to, in a sense, let it go. Let God, let the universe take it, right? Of course, you're spearheading it. You were the one chosen to do that, right? But at the end of the day, it's not yours, right? It's something that's going to serve the greater good. That's how you got to look at it, whatever you're pursuing. You can't look at it as just, okay, this is my money maker. This is that. I'm not going to let that person in because I don't trust them. All that stuff. It's going to sabotage any kind of progress for you. You got to be able to relinquish some control, right? You got to be able to relinquish some control in order to do that. And at the end of the day, what's the purpose? What is the purpose of you building whatever you're building? Okay. What's the purpose of you building whatever you're building? Is it just to hoard tons of cash in a bank, or is it to give you freedom? A lot of people, they start enterprises, they start businesses and stuff like that, and they end up starting something that actually entraps them. In other words, they have less time than they did on a regular job to themselves, right, or for their families, right? But they wanted the freedom, so they got away from the job and they created something, a business or something like that. And then in the beginning, it was yeah. I'm doing this. I can create my own schedule and all of that. But many times they find that they start to resent, right? They start to resent what they built, and that's sad, right? Because that same thing that they built is entrapping them, right? It's keeping them tied to. It's just keeping them tied to whatever they have to do in order for it to survive. And that wasn't the original goal. The original goal was freedom, right? Freedom from this. I got away from that. So the short-sightedness sometimes we have when we get away from something, because all we're thinking about is getting away. So we get away and we find ourselves in another predicament that's sometimes worse than the original predicament that we wanted to get away from, right? So that's where planning comes into play. Okay, that's where planning comes into play. Uh, I know, a lot of us, we work jobs and or we're in a some kind of uh, position where we have to earn an income, right? Which requires us to be I don't want to say at the mercy, but under someone else, you know. And a lot of us resent that because we don't want to be there, right? We don't enjoy what we do. I mean, it's the age old situation, right? You don't want to go to work. You got to deal with this. You got to deal with that. But you don't plan correctly, right, to get out of that position, right? Right? You just want to get out. You just want to get out, and you find yourself in a worse position. Either you quit and you don't have any income, or you create something that is creating an income for yourself, but you have no time. And what is time? Time is more valuable, I would say, than earning an income, right? Time is more valuable. I mean, because if you create something else, you better make sure that you create something that you enjoy doing, because you're going to spend the majority of your time, if not more, um, doing that thing. All right. And somebody give me an amen on that. Somebody give me an amen on that. Yeah. So you gotta plan correctly, right? And if freedom is really what you want, right, you can't have that just doing whatever you're doing by yourself, right? Unless you create something where it's not that big, but it depends on the type of freedom you want. If you want to travel the world, or do something that costs a lot of money, then you may have to you're gonna have to create the income that equals that type of freedom. And a lot of times, it's not selling flowers on a corner, or something like that, unless you delegate and grow that business, right? Whatever that is, into something big enough which allows you the freedom to go out there and have time to yourself, take vacations and all that stuff you want to take, right? And one of the reasons I decided on doing this live is because on this particular topic is because I see sometimes I think about the stress that a lot of people I know have over their situation, and the freedom that they really want, right? And it can be you can pretty much create anything, but it's how you create it, how you design your future, how you design it, that will allow you to have the freedom that you so desire. Okay, so that's why I say the solo route will give you some freedom, some level of freedom, but depending on the level of freedom you want, it can also be a trap, right? It can also be a trap. You can spend hours upon hours upon hours doing what you're doing by yourself, and the freedom that you so desire, like I said, is slipping away. Unless, unless you think like a boss, right? You think like a boss, and you say, okay, how am I gonna, grow this thing that I started, this thing that I love to do? How can I grow that into something that will feed me? How can I make it autonomous, where it can operate on its own without me? All right. How can I do that? That's how we got to think. Okay. That's the steps that we have to take in order to give us the freedom we want, so we can spend time with our families and our loved ones and so forth. The quality time that we so desire. A lot of people start businesses, and they lose their families. They lose their husbands, lose their wives. They lose their kids because they're never there. They're never around. They're too busy building. They're too busy building. And that even goes for people that have done what I'm talking about right now. You're so addicted to that thing, right, that you're more dedicated to it than than your own family and stuff like that. And that's not a good thing either. But in the beginning stages, if you don't, like I said, for those who really want to get out of the rat race, um, think about how you're going to do that, right? Because there's a way to do it. You don't want to jump from the frying pan into the fryer. Okay. Very Good Life Note says there are good days and days you have to remind yourself why you originally begun. Absolutely. There are good days. And there are days that you're going to have to remind yourself, right? Why you did it, why you're doing this, why are you doing this, right? And, you know, I got to remind myself at times that the real reason why I do what I do is because, of service, right? I want to be of service. I want to be at least some sort of gateway or a revealer of opportunities to those the ones I care about, whether that's my viewers or people in my community. Um, yeah, that's how I look at what I do. Okay, because I want people to, especially young folks, to say, hey, this is an opportunity here. These are opportunities that I didn't consider before, and if it resonates with you, fine. If it doesn't, then you probably wouldn't be watching my channel, right? But yeah, so planning is very important. Planning is very important when it comes to building. Okay, you just don't want to build without a plan. Okay, you want to understand. You want to know where you're going. Okay, you want to know what you want out of it. Okay, because everybody doesn't want the same thing. All right, so some people may just want some level of freedom. They don't need to travel the world. They don't need to have millions of dollars in the bank. They just need to have enough to enjoy a nice, comfortable life. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. And there are those who want more, so to speak. They want more out of life in terms of the level of freedom that affords us sometimes in terms of monetary freedom. Right. Peregrine Life Notes says, for me, 35 years of service. Yes, Peregrine Life Notes has been putting in 35 years of service to the community. And that's, you got to give her an applause on that. Give her an applause on that. Peregrine Life Notes, we applaud you for all your service. Okay. All the service that you have given the community. And, we see you out there. We see what you're doing. And hey, hey, come on. Okay. So, but Peregrine Life knows she loves serving, right? She loves helping folks, and she does it well. She does it well. Okay. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been in business that long if she wasn't doing something good. Yeah. So, but at the same time, like I said, the solo route, right? Trying to do it by yourself all the time can be bad for your health. You know what I mean? It can be bad for your health, and it can. It's not always the healthiest thing to do, right? So you have to delegate. I mean, if you even look at nature, right? Nature itself uh, is an ecosystem that it's a giant ecosystem, right? Creation. Let's talk about nature. It's a giant ecosystem where certain parts of the natural world depend on other parts of the natural world, right? I mean, for instance, think of flowers, right? Think of flowers. Um, Flowers, I think, give off pollen, right? And then bees take that pollen. I'm sorry, bees pollinate the flowers and all of that, and it's just a cycle. It's just you can think of so many cycles in nature that where one organism is dependent on another organism to live, right? It's like almost everybody's in sync. Everybody's in sync, even in the most brutal, the most cruel demonstrations of the natural world, like in terms of like one animal killing another to eat. That's still a cycle, right? It all depends. Everything revolves around the other. You can't survive without each other, right? Even in that brutal cycle of nature. When you see wild animals go at it with each other and take each other out, that's all a cycle still. That's just the natural world, right? You can't necessarily feel too bad about that. Well, it's the same thing with us, but the difference between us, the natural world, and human beings, even though we are part of the natural world as well, is that we have egos. It's something called an ego, and I'm sure you guys have heard about the ego, right? What is the ego? It's that part of us that only recognizes us, right? It's I hate to call it a selfish part of us, but in a sense it is, right? Because it only considers things that benefit itself, right? Not not what it can do for others, but what it can get, And a lot of times when we start out in life and we want to make something of ourselves, we're in that egotistical stage. Not necessarily we want to serve others, but we're in a survival mode, right? We're in survival mode. So we have that urge to get. How can I take advantage of this opportunity? How can I take advantage of that opportunity? Um, and we forget that the ultimate goal for us to be here is to serve, right? Is to serve, and you can get stuck in that ego mode where you're just getting. You can go out there and be the most prolific hustler, if you want to say, out there in the world, but it was all coming from a place of ego, a place of getting, right, and not giving. So I don't want to stray off topic here, but what I'm trying to get at with you guys is that a lot of us trying to do things by ourselves all the time and not wanting to um, allow other people in to help us is a trap. Okay, is a trap, and it can lead to bad health. It can lead to destroyed relationships. It can lead to a whole host of negative things. Very Good Life Now says, "Yep, solo is not good. You need someone to help and hold you up when it's necessary. Also, it allows for a person or persons to be a blessing and pour into your business and to you." Absolutely, absolutely. If you're not able to allow others, right, to come in and help you out, how are you going to grow? You don't know everything, right? You're not. I mean, I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Those people who you think know everything, they don't. Okay, they need people as well. Giant companies out there that we know about. That's why are they called companies? Because it's a conglomeration of individuals working, okay, working in one accord, trying to put the same manifest the same vision for that company or that enterprise. Okay, that's what it's about. Okay, so you have to have that mindset, and there will come a time. Okay, there will come a time where you will realize that you can't do it all. You'll become overwhelmed, and that's when a lot of people quit, because they didn't have the mindset of, okay, I got to create a team. I got to create a team at some point to build this thing. Okay, all right, and they because they start out saying, I'm going to do it all myself, and they try to stay in that mode, but they burnt out because they didn't realize at some point you have to expand, and you can only expand by yourself so much. It has to come a time where you have to surrender certain responsibilities to other individuals who may be better at those tasks than you are. And even if you're good at all the tasks, you're going to be bad at them because you're going to be trying to do all of them at once. Now, in the beginning, that's necessary because it's only you, right? It's only you a lot of times in the beginning. But at some point, right, you're going to have to realize that, hey, listen, I'm going to, that person does that better than me. I need to let them in. I need to give them the password to the back end to my website or something like that, the back end to my social media or whatever it is, to go in there and do that for me while I'm over here doing this, right? And that's how you build a team. You got to trust. You got to be able to trust people at some point, right? And then people do you wrong. We get it, but you do your best to have certain fail safes in place, right? Or certain, or maybe even give them limited access to your stuff, but you still have to let them in somewhat, right? You still got to let them in somewhat to do what you got to do. It's just like say you got something to fix in your house, right? And you're not necessarily the best repair person or handy person, and you're gonna have to call somebody to come to your house to fix the fridge, to fix the HVAC, to fix whatever it is. They're gonna have to come into your house at some point, right, and help you out so you can get back, get things going again. Well, it's the same thing in whatever you're building out there. You're gonna have to let certain people in and give them certain information to get in, right? In order for them to do what they have to do. And just sometimes we get burnt in life. We get burnt out there. We let the wrong person in. We trusted them and they burn us. Well, that's part of the learning process, right? That's part of the learning process. And I would say if you haven't gotten burnt yet, I don't want to say it's coming. I don't want to be negative, but trust me, I mean, it probably is. And we all have to go through that, but it shouldn't stop us from, not trusting someone else again, right? Enough, because sometimes you have to. Someone, like, if if you have a business or something like that, and you have to let someone go, you yourself are not going to take place of what that person did. Maybe you have to for a little bit, but you can't you can't stay there forever. You're going to have to hire somebody else and give them a chance. Right, give them a chance to show themselves and show what they're capable of. And if they're trustworthy, then you keep them on. All right, and you just keep doing that. Businesses hire and fire all the time. That's part of the budget. They got that in the budget. They probably know what percentage of people they're going to let go, and they calculate how much money they're going to lose on that. But that's all baked into the budget, right? And they just keep going, right? Because they know they're going to get a certain amount of people that are going to stick to it and be good at what be good and help the business to grow. So the whole going through the a bunch of frogs before you get to the prince or princess, whatever. That's the idea there. So, yeah, that's the mentality you have to have, because if you don't, then you're gonna be stagnated, right? You're gonna be stagnated, you're gonna be frustrated, and you're gonna be overwhelmed. And who wants that, right? Who wants that? Nobody wants to be overwhelmed. Nobody, because you had the dream in the beginning, right? But it felt good because you weren't in it until you get in it and you have to make that thing happen, and you see everything that comes along with it. Then it may not be so attractive to you, right? That's why you have to count the cost. You have to count the cost of whatever it is that you that you are going after, right? Now you have to take into consideration everything that comes with it, not just the feel good things about it, but the hardships as well. That thing's going to take time. You're going to mistakes is going to happen. You're going to lose money. You got to know these things, right? Before you get into that thing, right? You may lose friends, you may lose relationships, right? Because those who aren't there for you, in a genuine sense, will fall away naturally, right? Because of where you're going, and that's nothing wrong with that either. So you got to know these things, and you got to be prepared, and you got to, you got to accept them, right? Acceptance is one of the first stages of progress. Is acceptance, right? Humbling yourself enough to accept the harsh realities of success, of progress. If you're serious about progress in your life, what it's going to take. What is it going to take? Okay, you're gonna be stripped of certain things. You're gonna be forced to confront yourself, probably on a daily basis. You're gonna be forced to confront those parts of you that are hindering yourself, and either you're gonna succumb to them or you're gonna conquer them. Right? Are you a conqueror? Right? Are you a conqueror? Right? And you have to conquer that part of you that just wants to keep everything to yourself. Right? You got to be able to relinquish responsibilities, delegate certain things in order for that thing, whatever it is, to expand and become what you want it to become. And that's all part of character building, right? Character building. And so I tend to look at the striving for anything worthwhile in life is actually a striving to build character, a certain character that wasn't there before. Because that's exactly what's happening. You have to become something else. You have to become something else. You have to become something that you're not now in order to have or manifest whatever that thing is. It's going to require something of you. It's going to require something of you. There's a cost, right? There's a cost that a lot of people don't take into consideration. There's a cost, and that cost is you have to become something else. You're not going to get me unless you become, excuse me, guys. You're not going to get me unless you become this. That's what that thing is telling you, right? If it was a person and it could speak to you, it's saying you're not going to acquire me, or I'm not going to be in your life. I'm not going to manifest in your life if you don't become this. In other words, it's saying I can't manifest in your life unless you become this, unless you become disciplined, unless you put the time in, unless you're able to sacrifice. Right? Unless you put the work in, right? All of that, unless you're able to delegate, unless you're able to give up that ego, right? And, assign certain tasks, to others, to let people in, to let them know what your, dreams are, let them know what the vision is, okay, and you have to be willing to risk that, right? You have to be able to willing to risk being you know taken advantage of in order for you to get to where I'm going, get to where you want to go, right? Or get to me, in other words, right? So that's what that thing is telling you. And if you're not willing to do that, then how can it come into your life? It's going to come into someone else's life who's willing to do those things. It's not that it doesn't want to come into your life, but what are you doing to get to manifest it? It's there it's all around. All possibilities are there, but there is a cost. There's a gatekeeper. Okay, sometimes that gatekeeper is us. It's our own selves, and we have to. But we have the key, and I just spelt out some of the keys. Right, I spelt out some of the keys in order for the gates to open for you, and for you to step into a new level. Okay, a new phase of your success of your life. And I tell students this at you know, I like I always say, I work at a nonprofit as well, and you know, we teach people trade skills. Okay, and I tell students, hey, you know, it's not just about learning a trade, man. It's about a whole lot of other things come into it. It's about life skills. Okay, you took the step to learn this trade, and that's great. You're successful. You got certified, but now the real test begins, right? The real trial begins. So you have to go out there and go get a job, right? So what are you going to do when somebody tells you no? Are you just going to give up, or are you going to keep putting in the work? Are you going to keep putting in the work, or are you just going to let it pass by? You know, you did all this work for nothing. It's up to you. But if you really want success, like you say you do in this field, then you have to keep going. You know, you got to knock down doors. You know, like you just can't stop. You got to look at those doors and those no's and those negatives and responses, not as negative responses, but as opportunities to intensify, right? To intensify your resolve, right? To be successful. Simple as that. It's all a mindset. It's all a mindset thing. Okay. So yeah, you know, understand that you know that it's not all about you guys. Okay, it's not all about me. It's not all about you. If we think in terms of others, and we think, especially if we think about those who depend on us, right? Whether you got kids, whether you got family, whether it's, you know, it doesn't even have to be blood family. It could be your community, right? Whatever it is, then you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to grow, right? Uh, in order so they can grow as well. Believe it or not, a lot of people are depending on us, and they don't even know they're depending on us. And we don't even know sometimes who's depending on us, right? Because we're all stuck on ourselves, right? We're all stuck on ourselves. So back to the solo route that I was talking about. Like, I mean, if you bring a person onto your team, you're actually helping that person and probably helping them help their family, and so you know, that's how you help others, right? You have to think that way. Okay, if I bring this person onto my team, that's not just somebody that's helping me. I'm helping them, right? And they're able to help others as well, right? And that's the beauty of getting out of the solo, you know, me mentality into a us mentality. Okay, us, we, and we need that in our community. Instead of mistrusting each other, we need to trust each other enough. And I know sometimes it's hard, but at this stage, we can't afford not to trust each other, right? And yeah, there are a lot of growing pains, a lot of stuff we got to deal with in our communities to you know, in order to get ahead. But if we don't deal with them, it's just going to fester, and it's going to get worse, right? And then you're not going to have anything. It's going to be open season on you, right? You're going to be standing in the field with the wolves bearing down on you from all sides, right? And who wants that? Who wants that? Hold on a second, guys. Yes. All right. So, okay. So I just got a text from a friend of mine here. And this was people in Los Angeles, California. Okay. There's something called a peace rally and resource brunch 2023. They're going to have food, entertainment, resources, community healing, and more, right? Community healing. I kind of like, because that's what we need, right? We need healing here, especially in our communities, right? So they're going to have job, career opportunities, higher education opportunities, record expungement. So if you just got out of jail, got out of prison, and you got a record that needs to be dealt with, they can help you with that. Tattoo removal, guys. Okay. I know tattoos are the thing today, but they don't always get you into the spaces that you want to get into, especially if you evolved past a certain mindset. They can be the vestiges. Tattoos can be the vestiges of something that can possibly hinder you in getting into the space that you want to get into, because you've grown, man. So they do have tattoo removal services, housing assistance, and more. That's at the Peace Rally and Resource Brunch 2023. Okay, that's at the True Coast Youth Justice Center, 7625 South Central Avenue, Los Angeles. Okay, so yeah, guys, pause, take that down. Appreciate that piece of information. I just got that. Okay, yeah, check it out. There's all kinds of opportunities out there to get to network and get, be around people that are trying to go in the direction you want to go, progress, and that's how we should be thinking. So if that's in LA, right? But if you're out there and you're a young person, you're looking for, you're looking to grow, look for things like that in your community. I'm sure in most cities they have to have something going on, right? Something going on for you to get into that can take you to the next level. Whatever it is, whether it's learning a skill, getting tattoos. I mean, it's all progress, right? Everything I just read from what they're going to be doing here, it's all about progress. It's all about getting you to the next level, getting you out of that stage that you want to get out of, and look for those things. It's all around. Opportunities are all around for you to be around like-minded people going somewhere, and you never know. You can form lifelong relationships that can really, you can work together in the future. I mean, I've seen it happen, right? I've seen it happen. And so guys, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring to you guys tonight. It's not all about us. I know we all want to do it ourselves sometimes, but if we get into the mode of, hey, let me give someone else the opportunity to help me help them, right? And it could be a beautiful thing, right? If you find the right people, you find the right team, you'll travel much faster, much higher than if it was just you by yourself. Okay, you'll travel much faster and much higher than if it was just you by yourself. And in the midst of all of that, everybody will be gaining from that teamwork, team building mindset. Okay. So anyway, guys, appreciate you coming on. It's not gonna be too long tonight. Thank you for coming on. Hope you got something out of this. And don't forget to support the channel, calibrate.com. Okay. The link is in the description, calibrate.com. Got some great products over there. I'm constantly looking for new products to bring online for you guys to get. We got toolkits, all kinds of stuff, hammers, I'm working on bringing a new hammer online. Okay. New measuring tape, new hammers, stuff like that. Don't forget to watch the channel, subscribe, check out what I'm bringing you. I want to educate you guys on tools and all that stuff and how to use them and be handy, because the community that can't build physical structures it's totally dependent on other communities to do it. And it's just you should be able to build, okay, your own communities. Okay, I'm not just talking about social structures. I'm talking about actual get out there, lay the foundation, frame the house, frame the walls, all that stuff. Okay, and you can't do that without learning how to use tools first. Okay, and hey, I love tools, so that's why I'm doing this. That's another reason I'm doing the channel. So anyway, guys, appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, and hope you get some out of this. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.